Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, we are passionate about helping people with business and accounting. In today's video, I want to talk about the Tati Westbrook lawsuit and what we as business owners can learn from their situation. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So you're probably thinking, Steph, what is going on? Why are you talking about a beauty influencer? Well, this beauty influencer actually owns several businesses. And so I want to take this case study and talk about what we can learn from it. I am fascinated. I love learning about how people operate their business and how they structure their business. And this lawsuit gives us some insight into Halo Beauty, which is Tati's brand, and why her partner has decided to sue not only her husband, and the business, so Halo Beauty. Now guys, this video is 100% my opinion. I have no knowledge of the lawsuit outside of the public records, and I am just going to be sharing with you my personal thoughts and opinions on what the situation is. So if you're like my husband and you have no idea who Tati Westbrook is, she is a beauty influencer. She's been on YouTube for over a decade now. She has over 9 million subscribers and has recently, within the last 5 years, created her brand Halo Beauty. Within the last few years, Tati was involved in some drama within the beauty community and has recently been off of YouTube for a while. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory on her. There are plenty of drama channels covering all the drama surrounding the beauty community. So feel free to just type that in the search and I'm sure you'll find plenty of information. This video is not about that. This video is more about the business side of the lawsuit. So the lawsuit was filed by Tati's business partner. So the way that Halo Beauty is structured, it is a three-way partnership. So each one of the partners owns 33.33% of the business. When Halo Beauty was originally formed, the partnership structure was Clark Swanson owned 50% of the business. Tati and James each owned 25% of the business. So Clark Swanson had the majority equity stake in the business. Let's briefly just look at this lawsuit and talk about some of the major highlights. So Clark Swanson, the individual, and on behalf of Halo Beauty Inc., a California company, Swanson Global Enterprises Inc., on its own behalf, and on behalf of Halo Beauty Partners LLC, a Nevada limited liability company, versus Halo Beauty Inc. So Halo Beauty Inc. is suing Halo Beauty Inc. Halo Beauty Partners, a Nevada company, Tatiana Westbrook, James Westbrook, Tati Halo Inc., a Washington company. So it looks like Tati formed a Halo Inc. company in Washington, Tati Cosmetics Inc., a Washington company. Just by looking at the summary of this lawsuit, you can quickly tell that one of the partners is the partnership is gone bad. It's sour. The partner starts off with the lawsuit saying it's caused by Tati's greed. She is a very successful YouTuber, and together with her husband James, they planned a nutritional supplement business split 50-50, Mr. Westbrook and an old friend and colleague, Clark Swanson. So I want to stop right here. Guys, partnerships are really tough, especially partnerships within friends. So these friends were old friends and colleagues. So they've worked together in the past. And now one of them is suing another. That's not uncommon. That happens all of the time. Partnerships very rarely work out. Very rarely do we see a partnership company for years and years and years typically what happens is one partner buys out the other partner because they're very difficult. Like, you have two completely different people trying to run a business, and 9 times out of the 10, one partner isn't as invested as the other partner. And so the other partner starts to feel sour about that. The only time where I think partnerships can work is between a husband and wife. Those typically do work out in the long run. But partnerships between third parties, unrelated parties, those are really difficult, especially when you have family or friends involved. So that's pretty much what happened here. Is Clark Swanson is upset at the Westbrooks and he is suing them. Now, let's get into the lawsuit and we can see where the partnership starts to go sour. So before the business got off the ground, the Westbrooks unhappily, with only owning 50%, approached their business partner Clark Swanson and sold him on a deal. So give them 2/3 of the business. In exchange, the Westbrooks would commit to use Halo Beauty as Miss Westbrook's umbrella brand for all of her business launches. Cosmetics, skincare, fragrance, all of Tati's beauty products. Mr. Swanson agreed on these terms. Okay. Halo Beauty's first product launch was a great success. As a result, Miss Westbrook became virtually overnight a proven highly profitable product promoter. Right. I mean, she's a YouTube influencer with millions of subscribers. So yeah, she's going to promote the product. The Westbrooks made millions of dollars in distributions on 16.66% of the business that Mr. Swanson gave them. Okay. With great momentum and significant sales, Mr. Swanson and Mr. Swanson and Halo Beauty set out to launch additional products. Okay, so the first product was successful, so they launched more products. Makes sense. Here's where it gets a little personal. The Westbrooks, however, got greedy. Instead of honoring their agreement with Mr. Swanson and honoring their fiduciary duties to Halo Beauty, the Westbrooks cut a separate deal to launch a cosmetic product, a color palette, without Mr. Swanson or Halo Beauty. Future launches in makeup, cosmetic, accessories, and fragrance were also planned separately without Mr. Swanson or Halo Beauty. As a result, Mr. Swanson and Halo Beauty have been robbed of the benefit of the agreement with the Westbrooks, and the Westbrooks continue to profit from an agreement they never honored. So what I'm getting from all of this is that Clark gave up more of the business to the Westbrooks, and the Westbrooks promised him that they would keep all of future launches that Tati does, cosmetic, fragrance, and otherwise, under Halo Beauty. So instead of her creating a separate company for any other launches that she does in the cosmetic world, she would include those in this business and therefore share some of the profits with Halo Beauty and Clark Swanson. Now, this is just Clark's side of the story. And that's the problem with some of these partnerships, is that one person is understanding one thing and the other party is understanding another thing. And when things are all said and done, it explodes on them because it's not formally written out. Like, I don't know if that's the case in this scenario. I'm just saying in most partnerships, that's what happens. You know, one person is thinking one way, another person is thinking another way. And then when it comes down to it, Tati is basically, the way Clark Swanson is explaining this, is Tati's basically signing her life away, signing her future away, and sharing all of her future launches and products with this person, with this partner. I highly doubt that she would want to do that. I mean, would you want to do that? Would you want to sign away your future with this person that you work so hard for? I mean, I don't know. So now we get into the parties. So Clark Swanson, he talks about all of his accomplishments, who he is. Same with, Tati and James. So they all hold a third of the business, which is kind of ironic, right? So Tati and James own a third, but they're married, so they actually own 2/3 of the business, which, that becomes a problem here down the road. When they decide to distribute funds, it's, majority rules. So if Tati and James elect a distribution for all of the members, then they can do so. All right, so the dispute. So under the dispute, it gives us a little bit of a backstory. So in the fall of 2016, Mr. Swanson and his old friend James, so they want to make sure that the court knows that they have been friends for a long time. Let's see, and his then girlfriend Tati decided to develop nutraceutical products that would provide beauty benefits to its takers. Miss Westbrook offered that she could market such products through her YouTube channel. After discussing among themselves, they formed a company named Inside Out Beauty Labs, LLC. Okay, so then in March of 2017, Inside Out Beauty Labs filed for the use of a trademark, Beauty Boosters. Mr. Swanson owned 50% of the business and was a managing member. The Westbrooks each owned 25%. Okay, so that's how the original partnership was agreed on. That's how it was originally formed. Mr. Swanson owned 50%, and the couple, the Westbrooks, owned each 25%. Mr. Swanson's education and training were critical for this company. The Westbrooks did not have any commercial credit relationship. So Mr. Swanson used his banking relationship, the Westbrooks' poor credit history, including a personal bankruptcy, meant Inside Out Beauties had to rely on Mr. Swanson's personal credit. Okay, so that's not uncommon. It's kind of weird that he's using his personal credit, especially since he's this established business person, but it's not uncommon for people to use their business and personal credit to try to get funding for business ventures, especially if you own 50% of the business. So this was really Clark Swanson's business. He was the managing member and he owned most of the equity, which would make sense why he would use his personal credit as, collateral essentially. Mr. Swanson even used his personal credit to lease Mr. Westbrook's a Maserati worth $200,000. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense that he would put this in the lawsuit. Like, who cares if you leased a car for your friend? More important than logistics, Mr. Swanson researched and developed the products for Inside Out Beauty. After years of research and development, Mr. Swanson identified unique or exotic ingredients and negotiated supply agreements. Okay, so he did a lot for the business. Makes sense. You own majority share, so you better hustle and make it happen. The Westbrooks, by contrast, had little in the way of proven business skills to contribute. But he knew that going into the business. So the Westbrooks, by contrast, had little in the way of proven business skills to contribute. Miss Westbrook noted to Mr. Swanson that she had some business experience based on her YouTube content. Her business history consisted of work in retail and cosmetics. Yeah, so Tati could sell stuff. Ultimately, Miss Westbrook provided some input on packaging and design, while Mr. Westbrook assisted with vendor selection, logistics, and quality control. Okay. So the Westbrooks persuade Mr. Swanson to reduce his shares in the company in exchange for their commitment to make Halo Beauty the exclusive brand for Mrs. Westbrook's beauty products. So this is the foundation. This is the fundamental issue in the partnership. One partner is under the impression that things are going to be a certain way, and when it's not that way, they get upset and they sue people. On July 17th, the Westbrooks and Mr. Swanson agreed on the name Halo Beauty Nutraceuticals for the company. Miss Westbrook chose the name and believed that it was a better name for commercial purposes. Mr. Swanson agreed and emailed the company's legal counsel requesting that they make the name change for California companies. Okay. So they met at Mr. Swanson's home. The three of them spoke for about 2 hours. So the Westbrooks asked to re-envision Halo Beauty as a new company that planned to be a global, all-inclusive beauty brand for Tatiana Westbrook. The plan was to use Halo Beauty to deliver a wide range of beauty products personally endorsed by Mrs. Westbrook. Miss Westbrook claimed that she wanted to build something gigantic and that Halo Beauty would serve as an umbrella company to establish and build global beauty brands with product categories that included supplements, skincare, cosmetic, fragrance, and more. Specifically, she stated to Miss Swanson that she wanted to build her brand under an umbrella rather than just do vitamins. She wanted to expand Halo Beauty to include a wet line, cosmetics, and skincare. So she wanted to basically expand her brand. So line 35, Miss Westbrook stated that she did not want to be perceived as a mere spokesperson or celebrity endorser, but rather she wanted Halo Beauty to be her company. She said she needed to be an equal stakeholder with a management role. The current ownership structure, she explained, made her look like a minor partner, which she was. At this point in time, she is a minor partner. And it's not a bad move on her behalf to say, I want to own more of this company. The Westbrook proposed a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 structure. The Westbrooks sold Mr. Swanson aggressively on the financial benefit of the new all-inclusive brand. So basically they sold him that other businesses are being sold, are being offered $500 million from these gigantic companies. And Mr. Westbrook stated that basically Halo Beauty could reach a $3 billion valuation. From a business perspective, you have Clark Swanson, who owns 50% of a vitamin business. The Westbrooks allegedly are proposing, they all own 1/3 of a gigantic business. So he's essentially giving up equity stake in the business to basically broaden the scope of potential business ventures. And then some of this lawsuit stuff is just really to make Tati look pretty bad, basically saying that she could create crappy products to loyal followers and that they would still buy them. She then made promises of other influencers that would promote her products. So after an extensive pitch, Mr. Swanson agreed in exchange for Halo Beauty becoming Mrs. Westbrook's exclusive channel for all beauty things. Mr. Swanson agreed to give up 50% stake, managing membership in the nutraceutical business in exchange for 1/3 ownership of the all-new, all-inclusive brand. So Mr. Swanson sent an email of the conversation. So in the email, it says that they arrived to an understanding and agreement between the partners and that Clark Swanson would reduce his owner equity stake. So he would reduce his equity ownership from 50 to 33.33. The partners agreed that James and Tati would collectively own 66%. The new ownership therefore agreed to be divided in equal parts, being that Tati is now 33.33% and so are the other two partners. And then there's more in this email, but it is agreed that the global partnership is to build an exclusive global beauty brand. This brand will develop and manufacture beauty products for the beauty industry. And then the email goes on to say that we're going to start with the supplements, and then we're gonna move on to other things. So that's really the basis of this lawsuit is Tati went and did other business, a pallet with another company and her own company. And now Clark Swanson is pissed because he's probably lost out on millions of dollars. So what can we learn from this? What can we take from this? One, if you have a partnership and you do not have an operating agreement, then you need to get one as soon as possible. Now, remember guys, I'm not a lawyer, but the operating agreement lays out all the way the business is structured. So it lays out who the owners are, it lays out how much equity stake they have in the business, it lays out responsibilities, it lays out what the business does. I mean, it's really it's the business written down in a document signed by the owners of the business. So if you have a business and something happens to you, then your family can be left with nothing. Like, it is serious. I really recommend that you guys have an operating agreement. If you're in a position where you're thinking about taking on a partner, take your time and make sure that it's the right move for your company. A lot of cases, people take on partners to fulfill roles that they can't fulfill themselves. So a lot of partners will take on a financial person because they're good with numbers and this, that's going to help the business. In most cases, you can hire a consultant for let's say 4 or 5 years to take on that piece while you get the business up and running or while you learn the business side of being a business owner. You don't necessarily have to give up half of your company because you're not equipped with a certain skill set. You can hire out that skill set and keep 100% of your business and not give up 50%. In the lawsuit, it says that Clark Swanson did a lot of the research and development for Halo Beauty. If Tati and James would have hired him as a consultant to do all of the research and development for that period of time, they would not be in the situation that they are today. Tati would have free reins to do whatever she wanted in the beauty world, and they would have paid this person for his services for doing the research and development, and Tati and James could have done whatever they wanted with Halo Beauty. So it's important to know where your business is going, where you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years, and having a partner really limits you on what you want to do for your business. So if you're going to take on a partner, you need to be ready and willing to give up half of the control of the business. And sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to lose on certain things that you want to do because you have to take the other person's wants and needs in advisement. So really take your time, think about is this partnership the way to go, or can I just hire this person who I really enjoy working with? He's a great friend, she's a great friend, and they can provide value to your business. Hire them out and work with them that way. It's going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, this lawsuit is going to go on for years if they don't settle. The Westbrooks are they're going through a lot as it is, and just this lawsuit is just making it even worse for them, in my opinion, because it's just stress. Like, lawsuits they're not fun. They don't sound fun. They sound awful. And so if they would have gone a different route in their business structure, then they wouldn't be in this situation, and really in partnerships, when you're going to take on a partner, friendships are really difficult. When they say don't mix family and business, don't mix friendship and business, there's a reason for that. They don't end well most of the time. There are exceptions to the rule. So if you have a partner and you guys are doing awesome, like, don't come at me in the comments. Like, that's great. I'm so happy for you. The majority of the time though, they don't always work out. So if you're going to take on a partner, like I said before, have an exit strategy, be prepared to, buy this person out if that's even an option. Make sure you write it in the operating agreement. And then lastly, if you're going to make changes, so the way this company was structured was 50%, 25, 25. Was 50% Clark Swanson, 25, 25 the Westbrooks. They changed that equity stake in the business, make sure that that you update your operating agreement. Make sure that you seek out legal help before making any changes to the business. So each partner should have their own individual lawyer that can advise them on these issues. Because if you go further into the lawsuit, there are financial ramifications to the decisions that you make as a business owner. So if you tell your partner, we're in this together, I'm going to focus on this business, you're going to focus on this business, we're not going to have any other ventures outside of our company, and they go and create another business that is much more profitable or doing much better, you're left over here working the business 110%, and this person is giving it 10%, and partner A starts to feel sour that partner B is making money on this side and not contributing as much work and effort to the business. And that's when division starts to happen and the financial impact can be so great, like in this case. So what they're stating in this document is that Tati Beauty sold out of 100,000 of 250,000 total units in the initial run. So they're saying that to the present, the plaintiff's estimate of Tati Beauty revenues is in excess of $16 million. So this is revenue, this is before expenses and all of that. So this is gross sales revenue. So that's money that Clark Swanson didn't get. I hope you found this video helpful and got some takeaways from this case study that is unfortunate. I am so sorry for the Westbrooks and Mr. Swanson for having to deal with all of this. It really is a bummer. I can't imagine all of how expensive this case is going to be or can be if they don't settle. But that's why, guys, it's so important to make sure that you know where your business is going. Have your 5, your 10-year plan. If that includes a partner, make sure you vet this person and that you guys have the same vision for the business. If you did find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel, give it a like, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.